All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Oh no, fellow Pandemonium travelers. This is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown Day 188 by my count. Well, here it comes, boys and girls. Can you see it? You see how foggy all that shit is? That tree is, what, 50 yards away, and it's a formless shape. The smoke is coming. The fallout from the fires is coming, and oh boy, is it probably gonna get nightmarish. On top of, the end of the world that's already upon us. It's also the 19th anniversary of the 9/11 World Trade Center terrorist attacks. And it's fascinating watching people discuss their 9/11 remembrance moments, because it was this, uniting moment, a pushpin moment, like an anchor moment. The assassination of John F. Kennedy, the Oklahoma City bombing. Google it, kids. Oh my God. You can't even see Queen Anne. Oh God, we're so fucked. Oh my God. Okay. Being just out of high school on just out of high school. I graduated from high school in like June of 2001. And then, a few months later, I'm going to community college at North Idaho College, trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. Apparently, this is what I'm going to do when I grow up. And I'm living at my old man's house, and he comes and wakes me up. Hey, knocks on the door to my room. Hey, you should wake up. You should come watch the TV, watch the news. There's something big going down. So they crashed some planes into the World Trade Center towers, and we're under attack. So I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, this is gonna be big. Oh my God. Maybe it may not mean anything to you guys on account of you can usually at least see like the Space Needle kind of peeking up over the hill there. Anyways, I go downstairs, I start watching it, and I think that he woke me up after the second plane hit, because the first plane, so the morning routine was to watch CNBC, and bless my old man, he would make me breakfast, whatever it was, an Eggo or make some toast or whatever, and I'd watch CNBC, and I'd ask him about what's going on, what are options, what's bull, what's bullish, what's bearish, why is Maria Bartiromo so freaking pretty, and she's down there on the floor of the exchange there, right? So normally we would do that, and then, in the morning he's watching the news, and he's like, oh crap, things are going crazy. So he goes and wakes me up. He's like, hey, this is going to be big. You should probably come and see this. And, oh boy, was he right. That thing spalled out. That thing took down the twins. They took down the Twin Towers, and they crashed into the Pentagon, if you believe the official story anyway. And then the one in the field in Pittsburgh. 2 pies in the face and one in the field in Pittsburgh. That was the Family Guy joke? The United 93 people. Which is a wonderful movie, by the way. The movie is haunting. You should watch it. But thinking, on the one hand, well, fuck these assholes that attacked us. And then on the other hand, oh, we're gonna go to war. Oh, okay, well, okay. We then, pass the... Oh my God, look at the buildings, guys. Look at the buildings. My goodness. We live in a dystopian hellscape, guys. 2020, the mask just completely dropped. But 9/11 retrospectives, I mean, I was far removed from any danger, right? Living in North Idaho, not a major target for military or terrorist attacks, not gonna lie. Not a high priority target for Al-Qaeda. But we had to watch the whole world go crazy, and then we went and invaded Afghanistan, and we've been there ever since. Like, let's see, 83, 17, 18 years. It's now 2020. We've now been in Afghanistan longer than I've been alive? No, not longer than I've been alive. Longer than I was alive before we were in Afghanistan. The amount of time we spent in Afghanistan is now longer than before we went into Afghanistan. Something like that. Call it like twice as long. Or, no, half of my life, roughly, we've been in Afghanistan. And by extension, sort of like half of my life we've been in Iraq. And I was able to avoid military service because I had some resources at my disposal to, you know, like afford school and stuff. But I have friends that deployed. Some did, you know, multiple tours here and there. I met people later on. I went to school with people later on who had served over there, and a lot of them were messed up, man. I mean, they were messed up. Some of them were injured. Some of them had PTSD. Some of them had, you know, just trauma. And we keep dealing with the fallout from these foreign wars. And so this is the kind of I want to say it's like the anti-neocon take on the whole thing. This is the critique that a lot of people have of the Iraq War and Afghan War. Is the Mujahideen, okay? You can fact check me if I'm wrong. It's not quite 100% clear, but the CIA gave money to Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan in the 80s after the Russian and the Soviet invasion in order to help them fight the Soviets. Like, we gave them prototype weapons and stuff because that was a proxy war that mattered, right? Helped contribute to the decline and collapse of the Soviet Union, right? We gave money and resources to the Mujahideen. The Mujahideen were formed by Osama bin Laden, and then after Afghanistan repelled the Soviet invasion, we sort of left them on their own in a rubble pile of kind of our creation. And then they turned their sights on us after we taught them how to fight a global superpower with asymmetric warfare. And then, you know, after our... Oh my God, you guys. Look at those buildings, though. Oh my God. Seattle has pretty good air, generally. This is one of the things. Seattle usually has pretty good clear skies and clear air. It's not like LA. This is gross. Anyways, you know, all the grievances of the various, you know, Islamic sects and everything, the Wahhabists and Islamic Brotherhood and everything, and Osama bin Laden, like this global empire of the American devil, which we've done some awful things all over the world. We're gonna attack them in a way that we are not expecting and in a way that we can't necessarily anticipate. Like, you can anticipate someone crashing a plane into a building, but not like that specific plane into those specific buildings on this specific day, right? Then you have your like Project for a New American Century conspiracy theories, where they had like some print collateral of like the Twin Towers in crosshairs. That's a thing that was mentioned in that like Loose Change documentary. See, I don't know if that's actually real, I know it was presented as though it was kind of like a data point. But anyways, rambling about 9/11 conspiracies because, oh boy, we went from 9/11 and then almost immediately in the aftermath, conspiracy theories started to abound. There was thermite paint inside the Twin Towers. It was an inside job. That was my Jesse Ventura. They demolitioned the buildings, like they exploded them and collapsed them on purpose. What was his name? Larry Silverstein was the owner of the building and got an insurance payout for it. This is, again, these are these conspiracy theories that sort of came out of the event because the event was so intense. And in hindsight, of course, compared to some of our more modern, like, chaos that we've seen, remember the Vegas shooting? The mass shooting in Las Vegas at the music festival? Some of these, police killings and all these things, and these riots, you get, like, 20 different angles on what's going on. September 11th was, I think, one of the first events where you just got so many different angles on film. Traffic cameras, tourists with cameras, security cameras. They didn't really have like body cams on police or anything at the time, but just people taking pictures and videos from all kinds of different angles. You had funky webcams at the time. The resolution would have been a little much would have left a lot to be desired, but you're still getting a feed. And I seem to remember, I don't remember who the anchor was, but I seem to remember CNN, the anchor going up just like on the roof of their building with the burning towers in the background, and just like they had their little remote camera set up or however they did that, and you now have another angle on what happened. And more videos started to come out over time that showed you the timeline of what occurred. And, well, it's basically disaster porn. I mean, we watched it over and over and over. The planes hitting, the first plane hitting, the second plane hitting, the first tower collapsing, the second tower collapsing. And then, like, audio tapes of, like, people inside the tower come out. And it's some of the sort of, like, most tragic audio you'd ever hear. But again, in my neighborhood, there are people, down the street had like some goats and chickens in like a little field, and there's just some goats and chickens, and they don't care. People put up some American flags, and like we all talked about what was going on, but we were not in we were not in any danger, so it was just removed from us. But then again, friends of mine enlisted. Some of them were actually enlisted before this even happened. They were on base somewhere in, I don't know, somewhere in the South. I don't know my military bases. And they went into lockdown because, oh no, they're under attack. And you gotta remember, this is like friends of mine, the same age as me. And I'm like, oh God, you're about to get shipped out to the other side of the world and sent to go fight people. But this is the thing, is you have to differentiate these things, and this is why some of the liberals and even anti-war right type people have to stay on message, because we went into Afghanistan because allegedly that's where Osama bin Laden was, and then we made an excuse to go into Iraq because that was allegedly associated, but it was not, and we should probably not have done that. There were no weapons of mass destruction. They weren't ready to be launched at anybody. And a lot of people are now dead because we granted ourselves permission to attack this country that had nothing to do with who attacked us on 9/11. That's it. That's the narrative. And that narrative is a contributing factor to why Donald Trump is president of the United States. And the sooner you understand that, the better, because either that narrative is wrong or that narrative is right. If If the narrative is wrong, well, then it was a stupid idea, and Trump has no leg to stand on in terms of being like anti-Iraq war. Or the narrative is true, in which case you have to confront that evidence and change your opinion, either about Donald Trump or about the Iraq war or about your position. See, these unicyclist type guys. I'm trying, fellas, but Jesus. All right, that's enough from me on the 9/11 19-year anniversary retrospective. I hope it was insightful. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.